featuring Lawrence Welk and the Champagne Music Makers in specially selected shows for public television.
Good evening. I'm Ken Delo, and I'm your host for tonight's show. This was the premiere performance of our 20th season on television, and it was based in part on a movie called That's Entertainment. Perhaps you remember it. It was crammed with great stars like Judy Garland, Fred Astaire, and Gene Kelly, and it really was great entertainment. And that's what we have planned for you tonight, just great entertainment. So let's get started with our opening number, which is titled, What Else? That's Entertainment.
The clown, with his pants falling down, or the dance, that's a dream of romance, or the scene where the villain is mean, that's entertainment. The lights and those fabulous sights, or a guy who gets hit with a pie, he's a hand to his millions of fans, that's entertainment. It might be a fight like you see on the screen,
a swain getting slain for the love of a queen,
some great Shakespearean scene
where a ghost and a prince meet and everyone ends in mincemeat.
the gag may be waving the flag that began with a Mr. Cohan hit.
My good friends, a pleasant good evening. Welcome to another year with our musical family, our 20th year on television. The song you just heard, That's Entertainment, is the title song of a wonderful movie celebrating the 50th anniversary of MGM Studios, which means MGM has been in business just as long as we have. Right now, let's meet a very important man in our musical family, our brilliant musical director, George Cates. How do you like this, huh? And I might tell you, George was wearing a beard long before it was fashionable. George will conduct the band in a medley of songs from that great show, Fiddler on the Roof. It's yours, George.
You know, when Lawrence first asked George Cage to conduct the band on camera, he was afraid George might turn him down. Thought he might be shy or something. Well, as it turned out, George loved it so much, Lawrence finally said, "George, you know what? You're a ham." You may have recognized that tune, Matchmaker, Matchmaker, in that medley, and that gives me an opportunity to bring you up to date on my family. Our daughter, Kimberly, was recently married to a fine young man named Darren McCabe. It was a very sentimental occasion for all of us. My wife, Marilyn, and I had a hard time realizing that our baby, Kimberly, was old enough to get married. She was only a year old when I first joined the show. Our son, Kevin, was head usher, and all our families were there for both the wedding and the reception. So were a lot of friends from the musical family. And all in all, it was a day we'll never forget, a real milestone. Those bring back memories. Well, after talking about romance and weddings, this next song seems very appropriate. Here's Lawrence to introduce it.
Many of you folks remember this next fine young gentleman, Bobby, from the days when he was with Walt Disney's Mickey Mouse Club.
There's only one thing I need. Got my tails pressed and my best vest. All I need now is a girl. Got my bow tie and my hopes high. Got the time and the place and I've got rhythm. Now all I need's a girl to go with them. If she'll just appear, we'll take this old town for a whirl. And if she'll say, "My darling, I'm yours," I'll throw away my bow tie and my best pressed tails. All I really need is the girl. And now, ladies and gentlemen, my wonderful dancing partner, Cissy King.
They're wonderful. I really don't believe there's any other young dance couple in America today that can compete with this very wonderful young couple, Cissy and Bobby.
Bobby, of course, found his girl several years ago when Myron Floren brought his daughter Christy to visit the show one day. One look was all it took. They've been married something like 22 years now. When lovely Anacani first came on the show in the early 70s, she was very young, still a teenager, I believe. There she is with Lawrence and Henry Cuesta. But on her very first appearance, she just bowled everyone over and received more fan mail than anyone else after their first appearance. She has more than lived up to that promise and is one of the most popular members of our musical family. Lawrence loved to hear her sing in Spanish, and he especially loved this song, Eres Tú.
Como una promesa eres tú, como una mañana de verano, como una sonrisa eres tú, así, así, eres tú. toda mi esperanza eres tú, eres tú. Como lluvia fresca en mis manos, como fuerte brisa eres tú, así, así, eres tú. Eres tú, como el agua de mi fuente. Eres tú, el fuego de mi hogar. Algo así eres tú. Algo así como el fuego de mi hoguera. Algo así eres tú. Mi vida, algo así eres tú. Eres tú, como el agua de mi fuente. Eres tú, el fuego de mi hogar. Como mi poema eres tú. Como mi poema eres tú.
We've had wonderful audience reaction to Dom Netherton, the fine young man we found back home in North Dakota. And girls, I might pass along to you that he's single and looking around at this time. Here he is with Bob Ralston at the organ.
If it takes forever, I will wait for you. For 1,000 summers, I will wait for you. Till you're here beside me, till I'm holding you. Till I hear you sigh, here in my arms. Anywhere you wander, anywhere you go, every day remember how I love you so. In your heart believe what in my heart I know, that forevermore I'll wait for you. The clock will take away the hours one by one, and then the time will come when all the waiting's done. The time when you return and find me here and run straight to my waiting arms. If it takes forever, I will wait for you. For 1,000 summers, I will wait for you. Till you're here beside me, till I'm touching you, and forevermore sharing your love, and forevermore sharing your
Tom is so tall, He's 6'5", if I'm not mistaken. And when he first came on our show, our costumer, Rosie Weiss, didn't have any shirts with sleeves long enough to fit him. So for the first few shows, she had to cut and patch and lengthen the sleeves so his cuffs would show. Just a little backstage trivia, folks. As most of you know, Lawrence loved Dixieland jazz. Well, any kind of jazz. And here's one of his favorites.
When I started in the music business 50 years ago, I used to listen to all the recordings by the great Dixieland musicians. One of my favorites was a record by Frankie Trumbauer and Big Spiderbeck. And here is how it sounded. We feature Dave Edwards and his fine saxophone section, and Johnny Zell on trumpet. A one and a two. Excellent, Johnny. Wonderful. Folks, in all our years on television, no performer on our show has ever received more favorable mail than the two singers I'm about to introduce. Our wonderful young husband and wife team, Guy and Ralna. There is just one sour note in our happy relationship. Their albums sell better than mine.
Well, that's not exactly true, but, you know, if it weren't for Mr. Welk and Ramwood Records and all the opportunities that they have given us, we might never have had any records to sell.
You're exactly right, and we appreciate everything they've done for us. You know, speaking of records, here's one of the biggest records of this past year, and a song we'd have liked to have gotten hold of first.
Wherever you go, wherever you may wander in your life, surely you know I'll always want to be there. Whenever you feel that you need a friend to lean on, here I am. Whenever you call, you know I'll be there. Let me be there in your morning. Let me be there in your night. Let me change whatever's wrong and make it right. Let me take you through that wonderland that only two can share. All I ask you is let me be there, watching you grow, and going through the changes in your life. Surely you know holding your hand,
holding your hand,
standing by to catch you when you fall, seeing you through in everything you do. Let me be there in your morning, let me be there in your night. Let me change whatever's wrong and make it right. Let me take you through that wonderland that only two can share. All I ask you is let me be there. All I ask you is let me be there. Let me be there.
Guy has sort of gone into politics in the last few years. His college pal, Trent Lott, is now the United States Senator from Mississippi, and Guy is a member of the senator's staff. That keeps him pretty busy, but he still manages to appear in concert whenever possible. And Ralna has developed quite a career in the field of religious music. She always loved the hymns and gospel songs she learned as a child, and as many of you know from seeing her on tour, she always stops the show when she sings How Great Thou Art. And wasn't it great to see Guy and Ralna performing again on the PBS special From the Heart? What a week that was in Nashville. There were 4,000 people in the audience that night. Over 20 Welk stars gathered on stage at the Opry House to pay tribute to Lawrence. It was an experience I'll never forget. Do any of you folks remember the old Jeanette MacDonald, Nelson Eddy musicals? He was always a Canadian Mountie or a prince, and she might be a merry widow or an opera singer. They were great. I'd met Mr. Eddy when I was doing my own television show in Australia a few years ago. He was there on tour, and he was one of the nicest people you can imagine. It was a real pleasure to meet him. One of the most popular songs of the MacDonald-Eddy team was also the title song of one of their most popular movies, and I'm going to have the pleasure of singing it. Remember this? Rosalie, my darling, Rosalie, my dream, since one night when stars danced above, I'm so much in love. So Rosalie, have mercy. Rosalie, don't decline. Won't you make my life thrilling and tell me you're willing to be mine, Rosalie, mine.
Thank you. And now for some more musical moments from MGM. Here's the first song. His song was made famous by Ukulele Ike and Gene Kelly. Here's our own Jimmy Roberts, Neil Levang, and our Champagne Dancers.
I'm singing in the rain, just singing in the rain. What a glorious feeling, I'm happy again. I'm laughing at clouds so dark up above. The sun's in my heart and I'm ready for love. Let the stormy clouds chase everyone from the place. Come on with the rain, I've a smile on my face. I'll walk down the lane with a happy refrain, just singing, singing in the rain, singing in the rain.
with my high starched collar and my high heel shoes and my hair piled high up on my head.
I went to lose a jolly hour on the trolley and lost my heart instead. In my light brown derby and my bright green tie.
He was quite the handsomest of men. I started to yen, then I counted to 10.
Then she counted to 10 again. Clang, clang, clang went the trolley. Ding, ding, ding went the bell.
Zing, zing, zing with my heartstrings. For the moment I saw him, I fell. Couldn't help it.
Chug, chug, chug went the motor. Bump, bump, bump went the brake.
Thump, thump, thump went my heartstrings. When he smiled, I could feel the car shake.
I tipped my hat and took the seat. I said I hoped I hadn't stepped upon her feet.
He asked my name, I held my breath. I couldn't speak because he scared me half to death.
Buzz, buzz, buzz went the buzzer. Plop, plop, plop went the wheel.
Stop, stop, stop went my heartstrings. When he started to leave, I took hold of his sleeve with my hand. And as if it were planned,
he stayed on with me, and it was grand just to stand with her hand holding mine to the end of the line, to the end of the line, to the end of the line.
I'm sure you recognized Gail Farrell and Dick Dale. They are both transplanted Southerners these days. Gail and her husband, Ron Anderson, live in Nashville, and Dick Dale and his wife, Marguerite, live near Knoxville. Incidentally, if you haven't been to Dick's Rainbow Jamboree, his theater in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, drop in when you're in the neighborhood. He and his partner, Ava Barber, put on a great show. You know, Tanya could sing anything, but she was especially good in songs that had a little humor in them. Here she bats those big brown eyes at some of the fellas in the band, especially at Big Barney Liddell. Okay, Tanya, it's all yours.
I've been crying and my oh my, and since he's been gone. But I've done some thinking and it's starting to sink in that life goes on. So if you're somebody who's feeling sorry for yourself, better sing along. 'Cause this is gonna be the last blues song. Now a little ditty bit of self-pity can really sing. But it keeps on growing and you know, whoa, whoa, and don't change a thing. So if you're somebody who's hooked on hurting on yourself, better sing along. 'Cause this is gonna be the last blues song. Whoa, 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 my, oh my. Yeah, 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 I'm fit to die. Baby, 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 please don't go. Papa, I think I'm getting high on feeling low. Whoa, 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 whoa. Toy you bluesers, you full-time losers, get out of bed. Don't you go and give in, don't you give up on living before you're dead. Well, come on now, brother, if you've been mothering yourself, better sing along. 'Cause this is gonna be this is gonna be the last blues song.
whole barn was having a hard time trying to stick to the notes there. Barney Liddell is one of the most popular members of the band. Everybody likes him. He has a heart of gold. I hope you had a chance to catch Barney along with Myron and Henry when they hosted that fabulous champagne toast to the big band special. If you haven't seen it, watch for it coming soon on this public television station. Tanya's pretty much retired from show business, but she keeps busy writing scripts, and she's still got that twinkle in her eye. We used to say that a Lawrence Welk show wasn't complete without a polka, and I'm happy to tell you that not only is Myron Floren going to play a polka right now, but the boss himself is going to dance with Cissy. Here they are in the most requested polka number ever played on the Welk show, the Clarinet Polka.
Let me play the accordion. You dance with her.
Oh, okay.
Mr. Welk! Mr. Welk!
Yes?
I can play on the tuba.
I can, too. But if you insist on it, I didn't know you could play the clarinet polka on the tuba.
Well, I can.
Really?
Just give me a chance.
Show it to me. Playing the clarinet polka on the tuba. My boys are full of surprises. Our newest member, Ava Barber, is making a lot of friends with her wonderful country singing. Ava, why don't you tell the folks how we discovered you?
Thank you, Mr. Welk. I met Mr. Welk in Nashville, Tennessee at the Music City Golf Tournament, and since he loves to play golf and didn't have time for an audition, my husband and I had a little tape cassette player with my voice on it, and we just followed him around, and he couldn't get away. And now I'd like to introduce my husband, Roger Sullivan. He's going to play swell drums, and we're going to do Oh, Lonesome Me. Everybody's going out and having fun. I'm just a fool for staying at home and having none. I can't get over how he set me free. Oh, lonesome me. Well, a bad mistake I'm making by just hanging around. I know that I should have some fun and paint the town, but a lovesick fool is blind and just can't see. Oh, lonesome me. Well, I bet he's not like me. He's out fancy free, flirting with the girls with all of his charm. But I still love him so, and brother, don't you know, I'd welcome him right back here in my arms. There must be some way I can lose these lonesome blues, forget about the past and find somebody new. I've thought of everything from A to Z. Oh, lonesome me. Go, Roger. be some way I can lose these lonesome blues. Forget about the past and find somebody new. I've thought of everything from A to Z. Oh, lonesome me. Oh, lonesome me. Oh, lonesome me.
Well, now you know how Ava got on the show. She has a wonderful sense of humor and keeps us all laughing when we're on tour out in the boondocks somewhere. Her husband, Roger, was always a big help, making sure all the band instruments were in place and ready to go. Touring is hard in many ways, but it is a lot of fun, too. I think you make friendships while on tour that last all your life. And speaking of friendships, I want to mention how wonderful it was to see so many of my old pals when we got together recently for the big tribute to Lawrence on PBS. Some of us hadn't seen each other in years, and it was a great reunion. It was a great show, too. Be sure to watch for it on your local PBS station. All you folks who saw the movie That's Entertainment probably remember Judy Garland singing Dear Mr. Gable. Well, when Lawrence decided to use that number in this show, he knew he needed someone who could not only sing, but was a fine actress, too. And he found just the ticket in our own Mary Lou Metzger. Here she is with her version of that song.
I am writing this to you, and I hope that you will read it so you'll know. My heart beats like a hammer, and I stutter and I stammer every time I see you at the picture show. I guess I'm just another fan of yours, and I thought I'd write and tell you so. Gee, Mr. Gable, I don't want to bother you. I guess you got a lot of girls that tell you the same thing, and, well, if you don't want to read this, you don't have to. But I just had to tell you about the time I saw you in It Happened One Night. That was the first time I ever saw you, and I knew right then you were the nicest fella in the movies. I guess it was because you acted so natural-like. Not like a real actor at all, but just like any fella you'd meet at school or at a party. Then one time I saw you in a picture with Joan Crawford, and I had to cry a little because you loved her so much, and you couldn't have her. Well, not till the end of the picture, anyway. Then one time I saw you in person. You were making a personal appearance at the theater, and I was standing there when you got out of your car, and you almost knocked me down. Oh, but it wasn't your fault. No, I was in the way. But you looked at me, and you smiled. Yeah, you smiled right at me as if you meant it. And I cried all the way home just because you smiled at me for being in your way. I'll never forget that, Mr. Gable. Honest Injun, you're my favorite actor. I don't care what happens. Let the whole world stop. As far as I'm concerned, you'll always be the top, 'cause you know you made me love you. Danced on the night we were wed. We vowed our true love, though a word wasn't said. The world was in bloom. There were stars in the sky.
joy. What a pleasure to dance with this lovely young lady. Thank you, Cissy. Norma Simmer, boys and girls. Here's an American classic which is also celebrating a 50th anniversary. It was written by George Gershwin and introduced by the great Paul Whiteman Orchestra in 1924. We feature Bob Ralston and Henry Cuesta with George Cates conducting the famous Rhapsody in Blue. George?
Wasn't that great? What a band. Just terrific. You know, we're here in the Lawrence Welk Theater in Escondido. And when it comes to presenting great entertainment, I think Lawrence was a master. He created an orchestra and a show that we all love. And you folks are a big part of it. You are the best audience in the world. I hope you enjoyed tonight's show. As always, it's a pleasure for me to spend time with you. Be sure to tune in next week. And in the meantime, keep healthy, keep happy, and keep on letting us entertain you. So long, everyone.
The clown, with his pants falling down, or the dance, that's a dream of romance, or the scene where the villain is mean, that's entertainment. The lights and those fabulous sights, or a guy who gets hit with the pie, he's a hand to his millions of fans. That's entertainment. It might be a fight like you see on the screen,
A swain getting slain for the love of a queen.
some great Shakespearean scene
where a ghost and a prince meet, and everyone ends in mincemeat.
The gag may be waving the flag that began with a Mr. Cohan. Hip
hooray! The American way. The world is a stage. The stage is a world of entertainment.